Well, hello, everyone.
Hey.
Welcome back
Back.
to the Craft Parenting Podcast. I was hearing an echo because apparently my phone was on.
Hey, we at least confirmed that we have audio because there was that one time or 3 times that we did not.
We went live and we didn't have sound. Well, welcome back to the Craft Parenting Podcast here live on YouTube. This is the podcast about 2 Cincinnati craft beer lovers with a parenting problem. My name is Joe. This is Caroline.
Hey.
And if you are with us watching live on the YouTube, make sure you say hello.
Why does our fridge sound like it's going to murder us? It's like growling.
It's growling. I don't know. Yeah, if you are here watching us in the chat, make sure you say hi. We have the chat up here, and we can read it if you want to participate in the conversation. Kids are napping.
I don't think it's a danger nap.
They seem pretty tired.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time outside today. So
we are going to talk about quite a few different topics, hodgepodge of topics, but the theme, I guess, of the episode is, of course, brown ales.
We haven't done an episode on this before, which is surprising, kind of.
I was saving it.
Okay. Joe paid attention on this one.
Yeah, so why don't you do the third eye first, since that's like,
okay,
it doesn't have any flavor.
That's not the one that I had prepped, but I also didn't realize how adjuncted the first one was that I picked out. Oof. Okay.
Yeah, so do you have anything to say about brown ales?
I do, but I'm currently pouring.
Okay, well, I can pour.
But I have to read the can because I didn't prep this one.
So we actually, I've been saving this one since we went to Third Eye.
That was a while ago at this point.
Yeah, with Blake, the Brewery Explorer.
To help him end season 1 of the Brewery Explorers podcast.
That was all the way back in 2023? Or was that this year?
I don't know.
Might have been December, actually.
It might have been. It was the same weekend that Third Eye Hamilton opened. Whenever that was.
Actually, all of these are adjuncted, but...
they are all adjuncted. But...
this is adjuncted at least.
This is probably the neutralist. We'll call it the neutralist of the adjuncts.
Yeah.
So this is Third Eye Brewing Company based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. And it is their Inner Sight Black Walnut Brown Ale. This is our lowest ABV at 5.6% ABV, and it has 25 IBUs. Third Eye's motto is, live life, do good, drink beer. Now, the pause was because the first thing is live life. I was like, live live. How do I pronounce this? My brain's a little mush at the moment.
We haven't been podcasting as much, so you are out of touch with your reading skills.
I am. And I also went for a nearly 5-mile jaunt through our neighborhood this morning.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yep. So this newest addition to our brown ale lineup introduces the deep, complex nuttiness of black walnuts, flavorful and malty with a delightful richness and earthy notes.
This was a really good beer. And I had a very hard time saving it because I really wanted to drink it.
Yeah. Was this the beer that I might have missed out on? Because you might have drank it. No, I think I'm thinking of a different brewery.
But yeah, I think I did drink the other 5 beers.
I think you did too.
But you brought home a different one, so. So it's held up. The flavor held up for sure.
The color is brown.
Yes, it is a brown ale. So it's kind of just what you would expect. Kind of, I don't know if ruby is the right word. Like brown red.
Yeah, I think it would have a light tan head if the head stuck around, but it's gone.
Yeah, so it has everything. You can definitely taste the walnut.
Mm-hmm.
There's something like sweet too. I don't know if it's cinnamon
It's sweet and roasty.
or anything like that. Or maybe it's just part of the walnut.
American brown ales are sweet, usually.
Well, no, there's something, I want to say it's like cinnamony, but that might be the walnut. Black walnut.
I'm getting a lot of walnut.
I'm not familiar with how walnuts taste, specifically black walnuts.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely sweet. It's very drinkable. You said it was what, 4%?
5.6.
5.6.
It's the lowest ABV out of all of the ones that we're going to have today.
Yes.
I debated pulling an Imperial Stout out of the fridge for if we have time. I can still do that though.
Well, I think we have 2 other beers, so I think we'll be a good.
Mm-hmm.
Brown ale is one of those styles that I enjoy. My favorite brown ale is Father G's Bees, the honey brown.
Yes.
By Brink Brewing Company. It might be one of my favorite beers, but I don't know how often they make it these days.
They package it. Like it's one of the beers that they can.
Well, they used to can it, but
yeah.
I don't know if they still do that, because the last time you were there, which was a while ago at this point, but yeah, the last time we were there, their fridge was basically empty. I hope that was like an off day.
To my understanding, they're prepping to put a canning line in next door, but I don't know. I think what happens to that space next door kind of keeps changing. Because at one point, I think it was going to be like an event space, but they were trying to figure out how to get the beer from point A to point B.
Well, they didn't even have it on draft, so
Correct.
I couldn't get it like as a crowler. Even that was just probably 9 months ago at this point, 10 months ago. I don't know when the last time we were at Brink. It was last year for sure.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
But that is my favorite brown ale, the Father G's Bees. It might even be my favorite beer in the Cincinnati area. I used to drink a lot of that when our parents lived over.
If I get crowlers at Brink, one of them has to be Father G's. And then the rest of them can kind of be whatever I would like to pick.
Yeah.
Usually I get one beer that Joe will not drink. And he's like, why did you get that? And I'm like, because it's so tasty.
It's usually like a weird sour beer.
Because it's so tasty.
The walnut beer, I have a feeling that they don't make this I feel like this is a seasonal one. I don't know, but
walnuts are semi-seasonal.
I don't know if you can find it, if it's on draft perhaps. Brown ale is kind of like a wintry beer. No,
I'm gonna shoot that down.
You're gonna shoot that down.
Yep, because according to domesticfits.com, brown ale isn't just any old beer; it's a taste explosion, loved worldwide.
Okay, it's an English style, right?
Yes.
Like that's where it originated.
Yeah. So to direct quote from them, because it's funny. Imagine that you've hopped in a time machine and landed in the 17th century England. Back then, any beer that was a bit brown was labeled a brown ale. So, like, at one point, like, every beer pretty much was a brown ale.
Yeah, wasn't it like brown ale and porter? Like, that was the...
And that was the darker beer that the porters liked.
A porter...
I feel
like a porter is a brown ale, but they like changed it. Like, I'm just trying to remember from when we did the porter episode.
So they're both heavier beers. Because a porter's called because the people that were porters, like as their job, drank it a lot. Like stereotypically. And then a stout just meant it was a more robust beer. So they're similar but different things. We've talked about it before. I don't entirely remember. Someone will come and correct me in the chat if any of our beer friends are on right now. So eventually, in the 18th century, it became a distinct beer style.
Yeah.
And so there's an English style and there's a U.S. style. The American style is more rich and sweet. This is very confusing. Yeah, the American brown ale is rich and sweet, and the Northern brown ale is hoppy and bold. I would definitely say that this is a rich and sweet beer.
So it's more the American.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not bold. Like when I think of bold, I think of like coffee.
Yeah.
Like that's a description. That's a descriptor for like coffee and really dark, bold flavors like that.
Yeah. And that they use darker malts to give a brown ale its signature brown color. And they also get some flavors off of that, like caramel or caramel and chocolate. Mm-hmm. But so, and then usually they have a alcohol range of 4 to 6%. Only one of those beers falls within that.
Well, these are adjuncted.
These are adjuncted.
So the one that I guess we're going to have that last. It has a tons of sugar in it. So more sugar equals more alcohol.
Yeah. Usually. And so American brown ale can pack up a more potent punch with 6.5% of alcohol, which is what one of our next beers has. Mm-hmm. And it's a good, versatile beer that does not have a season. This is the season for brown ales.
Well, I mean, it may not have a season, but it does. I mean, breweries will make what sells. And usually in the summer, the lighter IPAs, the
Pilsner.
Fruited, the Pilsners, those sell. Brown ales, I would imagine, don't necessarily sell during the summer. So if you're a small brewery and you have limited resources, you're going to focus more on the stuff that sells.
Yeah.
That was my point.
Sidebar, the sea salt lime common at Westside.
We have that in the fridge.
You drink any of those without me, you're sleeping on the back deck.
Oh man. Okay.
I mean, you'll have plenty of company with like the 50,000 plants I'm going to put back there, but you're sleeping on the back deck.
Oh yeah, and the birds.
So good news. I did not buy or plant myself any of the things that are going on the back deck during or directly after the eclipse.
Why does that matter?
Because that's how Aubrey from Little Shop of Horrors was created. I have not seen Little Shop of Horrors in its entirety. I know enough about the concept of it. She's the giant plant that says, "Feed me, Seymour." Yeah, I figured you would not entirely get that reference.
And I mean, that's like before my time.
I'm sure Julia does, though, and that's all that matters.
And it's like a pop culture thing, I'm sure.
Yeah. So
you have memes and stuff.
Odds are low any of them are going to turn into plants that will eat us.
Okay.
We'll just eat them.
Well, I mean, that's good. Yeah. I prefer not getting eaten by plants.
Yeah, but again, you drink a sea salt lime common without me.
Well, I mean, you bought that seasonal pack.
And it got cold today.
And none of those beers are like my jam.
Yes. Hey, I finished all of my apple pie, I think.
No, there's one in there.
I finished all the pumpkin spice.
Are you talking about the cider? There's
Yes.
like 4 ciders in there.
I finished the pumpkin pie cider. I think they're all strawberry ciders. I think I did good, Joe. I think I am drinking for seasonality.
We'll see.
Do you want to open up the next beer? Because we're both empty.
Yes.
A or B? We had different plans on which ones to do, so I need to.
Let's do the 50 West.
Okay. So this is 50 West's Home Sweet Home Brown Ale. It is a malt beverage with natural flavors, and it is 7% ABV. There's no place like home, brewed with sweet potatoes, molasses, and pecans or pecans. Depends on where you're from. Always pecans. Pecans is...
That's weird.
Yeah. No. Too much. Nope.
Now, I was skeptical of this one. But
I think I was the one that said that we needed to buy... No, wait, no. What happened was we went to 50 West with your sister because we asked your sister if she wanted to go out to dinner. And now she knows at this point there's like a 75% chance we're going to take her to a brewery. So it's fine. She understands the assignment at this point.
Why did we go to 50 West? Did we just want to go?
We went to the Crone Conservatory for the trains.
Oh.
And then we went to 50 West because we knew they would have kid-friendly food and kid-friendly areas. And I had not been to the 50 West Cincinnati location yet.
The new one.
Yeah.
Well, the new one. There's the only one.
I haven't been to the old one. I haven't been across the street to the restaurant that's now closed down.
You haven't?
No. I have been to the Chillicothe 50 West like 30 more times than I have been to the one in Cincinnati.
We don't go that often.
We don't. So Home Sweet Home. This field beer is an American brown ale that was inspired by our kitchen. It includes ingredients that would be found in a sweet potato pie, like cinnamon, sage, molasses, pecans, and sweet potatoes. I did not put enough emphasis on the end of sweet potatoes because there is an exclamation point there, but I did not like ramp up to it, so I apologize.
Yeah, they say sweet potatoes, but you can't necessarily taste the sweet potato.
It's a potato. It's giving you starch. It's giving you some of that, some more stuff for the yeast to chew on.
Yeah, maybe that's why it's, what is this one, 7%?
Yes, this one is 7%. This is the highest out of the three.
Yeah, I can definitely taste the molasses. It's kind of thick. It's a little nutty too.
It's definitely darker. I cannot see through it. Got a bit of a red tinge to it. Definitely a tan head. Oh, we were going to do stuff at the same time that involved not talking.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is good. I think I tricked myself because I just on the board when we went to 50 West. I don't think they say, sweet potato brown ale.
They don't.
It just says like brown ale or Home Sweet Home brown ale. And then so I got that and I'm like, this is really good. Well, and then I later found out that it was the sweet potato beer.
So
and I'm like, oh, because I'm not really a huge fan of sweet potatoes.
Yeah. Well, so we had ordered, and we maybe have talked about this before. We had ordered two different beers. We had ordered a winter warmer and this because I had wanted the Home Sweet Home because I knew it was with sweet potato. And then Joe couldn't remember which beer was which because the kids started going crazy. And so I was like, well, this tastes like a winter warmer. And I ended up handing Joe Home Sweet Home.
Oh, is that what happened?
That is what happened.
I thought
I couldn't figure out which one was which.
I thought I figured out. I thought I consciously ordered.
I think you might have ordered a Home Sweet Home.
And you ordered the winter warmer.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We ended up with the beers that we had not initially ordered, but we were not mad about it until I figured out that I was not the one drinking Home Sweet Home. And that was the one that I had wanted. But it's a really good beer.
Yeah, then so I think this is from December as well.
Yep. For sure, because that's when the trains are at Crone Conservatory.
Yeah.
For Christmas time.
Yeah, so we're not drinking the newest beers in the fridge, but we are getting through the beer fridge.
We have 3 volumes by Rebel Metal.
Yeah, I have plans for those.
Yeah, those are hanging out for a little while. Okay. Noam, Julia, Marco, Elijah, Blake, or Zach, do you guys have any ideas on if when someone is going to have volume in some kind of variety at a brewery? Because I thought that was talked about at some point. Now, it probably wouldn't be called volume because, like, there's Night at the Opera, which is the opera cream stout from Blank Slate.
Why do you think?
I thought at some point somebody said they might brew some of their beers somewhere else, or the recipes might end up somewhere else. I don't know.
I thought March 1st was thinking about it.
I'm not sure. Okay, in that case, Josh or Chris.
They are.
Or Brian, but Brian's probably too busy doing hot boy shit or something.
I do not think March 1st is going through with that, but I could be wrong, but I thought they talked about it and then they decided to open up their own place downtown instead.
Yeah. I don't know.
But March 1st, we need to go to the Fountain Square location.
So I need to get together with Marco, Noam, and Julia to figure out what the plan is, or the PLA, if there even is a PLA, for 3-ish Sundays from now.
3-ish Sundays?
Yeah.
Isn't that next weekend?
No, it's 2 weekends. It's not next weekend, it's the weekend after. And then, so when we're all done running / walking.
It's Mother's Day weekend?
I guess it is. Is it?
I do not think that is accurate. I think you have a week.
No, I got 2. And Mother's Day is the 12th. Pig / Cinco de Mayo is the 5th.
That's next weekend.
No, we are currently here. We got 2 weekends for the pig.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 27th.
Yes. Next weekend.
Okay.
Lily, Grandma, and Grandpa have time. So maybe that's when we can get mulch and we can do a bunch of stuff in the yard because we only have one kid to worry about.
Yeah, Elliot really likes mulching.
So we'll get there. So brown ales have a lot of flavor in them, and they're usually a harmonious blend of flavors. Now, all of the beers that we have are adjuncted, so they're all going to be very different. We could do this episode all over again and try to get like straight up brown ales.
Yeah, we could. But I think this is a decent variety.
It is.
Because it shows what the market's doing.
Yeah. So I
don't know that a lot of people would just package like a brown ale. Like they would.
No. I'm sure Westside did. But Westside will package anything.
They did, but it was seasonal, I think. Mm-hmm. And that was just like a straight, narrow road, Mm-hmm. It was really good. But I like the adjuncted ones, especially the Third Eye.
Yeah, well, because just a brown ale on its own usually is more sweet than bitter, but might have a little bit of bitterness in it. And they'll range from caramel to chocolate to even coffee without any of those things added into it. So I feel like coffee brown ales maybe should be more of a thing. I know coffee porters are a thing because I sent a picture out this morning of me drinking my cold brew out of my Hootapole mug.
Yeah.
And one of our friends was like, that's a coffee porter or stout, right? And I'm like, it's actually cold brew coffee, but I wish it was. And now it could be, except we might have some of that in the fridge.
I mean, we could make our own coffee, whatever.
We could. We have been doing a lot. Well, I have been doing a lot with cold brew lately. Yeah, I'm waiting for Joe to transition back into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not cold. It's not warm enough yet. I mean, like in June, July, August, yeah, mm-hmm. I will drink cold brew, for sure.
We're going to have to figure out how to cold brew on vacation. I just started thinking about that this week.
Well, I'm sure we could buy cold brew, right?
I don't like it though.
Oh, the Stoke. What is the brand that we got? The Stoke. STOK.
I think Stoke, and I think that one's probably the one that I like the most. I can't do Starbucks cold brew anymore. It is way too bitter. They let that stuff steep for like 72 hours or something ridiculous.
Well, they over roast their beans.
They over roast their beans and they let it steep.
Just in general.
Too long.
In general, they over roast their beans.
Come at me, Starbucks. I have mostly killed my Starbucks addiction. Now, did I get... did I go to Java Jackets 4 times in 4 days last weekend? It's possible.
Was that last weekend or 2 weekends
It was
ago?
3 days. No, that was 4 days. Was that 4 days? 3 days?
All right.
I had it too much. But it was so good.
We need to talk more about brown ales.
Yeah.
And then
So
we have an agenda of topics.
yeah. So they say suitable for all seasons, Joseph. Suitable for all seasons.
I'm sure in England, yeah.
Well, because like these are more thicker, like they're deeper brown ales. There's a lot of like if these weren't adjuncted, they'd be a lot lighter. The fact that the high today is like 65 is really helping out how much I am enjoying these right now.
Yeah, they are thick. They're kind of heavy. These are definitely like, I mean, the Third Eye is drinkable for sure, but the 50 West one, it's kind of a sipper. Mm-hmm. Like it's more of a, to me, the 50 West one, it's made for like Thanksgiving.
Oh, for sure. It is definitely
like,
more like
with the sweet potato and the warming spices.
This gets closer to liquid bread. Like, because so, according to domesticfits.com, not medical advice, not nutritional advice from us. Direct quote, the mix of ingredients, mainly malt and hops, gives them a solid dose of vitamins and minerals. It would have been really nice if the pitch would have had a brown ale on tap. They might have had a brown ale on tap. I don't think that they did, though, last week.
That's probably where everyone is.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're getting into, like, these vitamins are a power up for your body's energy production, which is why you should drink brown ales. And I'm like, what?
Where did you get this website?
I don't know. I stopped reading this far through because everything else was lining up with Wikipedia. And I did not produce early enough to like...
Yeah, we don't produce anymore.
We make it work. Yeah. So yeah, they're delicious. You should drink some. These are very adjuncted. So it's hard to say like, ooh, yeah, this malt, this hop, even though we don't really identify malts or hops on here. Though I do kind of want to brew a smash. Single malt, single hop. But we also like need to brew something before we would brew a smash anyway.
Why would we need to brew something?
Because I want more beer that I don't drink because I do not drink beer as much as I used to. Though like this morning, because I went on such a long run, I was like, this coffee would be better if it was beer. Okay. So which one of our 3 side quest topics do you want to talk about today first?
Well, the Cincinnati Pops is listed first, I believe.
Okay. So I started going back to practice soon before Oktoberfest because Lily wanted to dance and Lily was old enough to dance. So I'm like, sweet, sure. You go to practice, I go to practice. Well, we take a break from practice during Christmas. And so like there's a few practices that I'm supposed to have, but Lily doesn't have practice. So I'm like, nope, not going to show up until Lily has practice. And I show up and they're like, hey, yeah, we're going to like start doing the Radetzky in a straight line and see what happens. And I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, oh yeah, we're also going to try to do the Gomsprung in a straight line and see what happens. Oh, by the way, we're dancing with the Pops in April. And like at some point I had like completely missed that conversation, or like I didn't fully register it as a thing that I was also going to do. And then all of a sudden, like I was prepping to dance with the Pops. So
that's the Cincinnati Pops.
The Cincinnati Pops, which is, how much you know about them? You want to talk?
Well, there's the symphony and the Pops. The Pops is more like pop culture, movies.
It's a smaller, more diverse group as far as like instruments that they play, because you don't always need stuff for different things.
I kind of think of it as like I was in marching band. Mm-hmm. And when you're in marching band, at least in the high school level, at the program that I was in, if you're a marching band, you had to do concert band as well. So marching band was summer, fall. Concert band was winter, spring. And then they had these like little clubs. So they had like jazz band, and they did, at least the first 2 years, they did stuff with drama for the musical. I think they hired professionals all 4 years, and then you could, if you wanted to, you could play with the professionals, which was a really nice opportunity. But I didn't do that. I did jazz band, even though I played clarinet. I had the school had like a saxophone, and I played saxophone for a second.
I don't think that I knew that.
Well,
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's the same fingering. So clarinet is not really a jazzy instrument necessarily. Okay. Saxophone is a jazzy instrument. So my junior year, I borrowed just like a school saxophone. And I played saxophone for like a hot second.
Okay, so
I don't even know if you would consider it playing, because I mean, it's the same fingerings, it's and all that, but except for F sharp, everything is. It's a weird instrument, but.
So I know that I have shared this with you because our good friend plays the saxophone. So
he played the saxophone.
He played the saxophone.
It's been a minute since high school.
Like that was his main instrument.
Well, he played in college too, so yeah, I'll give him.
So, side quest: if you're bored, go search like creator of the saxophone. The guy should have died like 4 times before he created the saxophone. The universe was like, this instrument should not exist, and somehow he defied death 4 times or something ridiculous like that. It might have only been like 2 times, but I don't know how I feel about this. So,
I mean, I think I could technically play the flute too. Like, I think the fingerings are the same.
But the way the wind goes is completely different. So
yeah, that's a little bit more difficult. But yeah, so saxophone is a reed instrument. We had a guy who played bass clarinet, which it's basically clarinet, but just bigger. Mm-hmm. But the fingerings were the same. So if you're a woodwind instrument, like you can dabble in, just like if you're a trumpeter, a brass instrument, you can dabble in brass stuff. But when I think of the Pops, I think of the symphony is the concert band. Like that's like everyone does that.
Yeah.
And then if you want to, you can kind of, and then the symphony is like the traditional, like the stuff from like the 1800s and stuff, like Beethoven, and
they'll play modern stuff. But yeah,
then the Pops is like the more modern movie soundtracks, like all that stuff.
Yeah,
that's what I think when I think of what's the difference between the two.
Yeah. So like the Pops, they've got an electric keyboard or a baby grand.
They had a drum set too.
They had a drum set. Yeah. So a few months ago, they asked Lori if we would want to dance with Pops. And apparently enough of us said yes, that we agreed to it. And then we've danced with, like, the Dona Schwaben Society has danced with the Pops before. And they've danced with the symphony orchestra before. So the most recent time, though, was with the Von Trapp grandchildren. So the Von Trapp grandchildren came into town, and the Pops, I think it was the Pops, played at Riverbend. Whether it was Riverbend or the PNC Pavilion, I'm not exactly sure. But
I think that's all Riverbend, but
the one of the grandchildren from the Pops actually said, "Yeah, we'll dance with them." So our friend Bonnie, who had at that point had been with the Shoe Plottlers for a very, very hot second, was leading him through because he was 12. So like they're like, well, he could be like 5 feet tall, or he could be like 6.5 feet tall. So we're gonna have like a shorter lady and a taller lady both prepped to dance with him in case. And so she pulled him through our straight line version of the Radetzky. And then they did a straight line version of the Gomsprung. But we wanted to change up how we had done the Radetzky so it would be a little bit more interesting. So we worked on choreographing a new version of the Radetzky. I'm going to be so confused when I do the regular Radetzky again. Muscle memory will kick in, but we like completely changed up the second half of the dance. It's going to take me a minute. And then
you shorten it too.
So it's shorter. And then we also prepped the Gomsprung. We didn't know how long or how short the Gomsprung was going to be. And then they sent us music to that was going to be similar to what they were doing, but like a piano version of it versus the full orchestral arrangement, like full orchestral playing of it. And so we prepped the Radetzky to that, and that all lined up, but they never sent us music for the Gomsprung. So we stopped working on the Gomsprung thinking that we weren't going to do it. And then Wednesday we show up for practice and they're like, yeah, and the Gomsprung? And we're like, yeah, we're going to do that one too.
This was
Wednesday before a Friday night performance with live audience.
Yeah.
So we just stood while they played the Gomsprung Wednesday night, and they recorded it so they could then send it to us. So Thursday we were practicing it in the hallway. But we also had a very large wait on Wednesday between our dry run and then a like first rehearsal with the orchestra. So we went to the pitch because Mac had told us that the pitch had food. It was lies. The food truck was not open. So it was between the pitch and Queen City Radio, which like guaranteed to have food because their food truck is more permanent. Well, the pitch's food truck is pretty permanent too, but I guess their hours are probably better at Queen City Radio. So we had liquid bread for dinner, but then Lori had ordered pizza. So I came back to the dressing room to have a slice of pizza before we had to perform.
Because so she knew better. You guys, she knew you went drinking. That's why.
Well, no. So like some people were like, oh wait, dinner. Cause we had completely forgotten that we had to be there for a while. And so most of us had not had dinner. And I was like, well, you can try to order pizza or you can DoorDash. I'm going to go get some liquid bread and we'll figure it out from there. Well, it was going to be, we'll go to a place that has food, and then it turned into liquid bread. But I was like, what's your maltiest beer or what's your like weediest beer? So I ended up drinking some Hefeweizens.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to be smart about it. So then Thursday, Thursday was a dress rehearsal. So we actually had to show up in costume. Though only like half the group showed up in costume.
And it wasn't just you guys. It was, 6 groups?
Yeah, so
including you, 5 other groups.
Yeah, there were 5 or 6 groups total. So I think it was 5 groups total, but there were 6 songs.
There was German, African, Indian, Mexican.
The first half.
Irish.
The first half was the orchestra played a John Williams song. The Mexican or Latin American dancers did the Mexican hat dance and like a whole like compilation of a bunch of songs. Next was the African dancers, which we had never really gotten to see perform because we were always called to the wings right when they started. So we were kind of bummed that we didn't get to see them, but then we could see them on the live stream after the fact. It was us, and then it was
the Chinese.
So it was
that was the
Sycamore High School students that were part of like a heritage club, and part of that was like learning about different culture. It was like a cultural appreciation or something like that club, and part of that was learning this Chinese dance. So they did a dragon dance, and they didn't have to do like a whole lot because the main focus was a cellist. Then the next one was the Indian Shanti Choir and a
Those are footsteps.
Those are footsteps. I might have to get a remote here in a second. So it was an Indian Shanti choir. It was the Indian choir and their Shanti dancers. That's what it was. So they had a whole choir and they had dancers. And then last, yeah. And then last was the McGring Irish dancers. So Joe can vamp for a hot second about.
Oh, they're both awake. Okay. Usually only one of them wakes up. He's like giggling. Lily, please stay over there. No, it was cool. They performed for 3 days. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep,
Sunday,
I danced Friday and Saturday.
Sunday was the matinee, and then they live streamed the Sunday performance, and I believe it is gone.
I think it's gone now. I think it was up for a week.
It was up for a week, so you could watch live plus 7 days, and then they took it down.
Sorry, the TV wants something.
I think it needs to update, maybe. And they performed it at Music Hall. So if you're familiar with Music Hall, I think that's the thumbnail for this. So yeah, the thumbnail.
Yes.
I took a picture just of the Pops. So if you look at that, you'll see the setup. You have the orchestra, and then just like a little, probably 3 of these tables, if you can tell. Like that's how wide they had to perform.
No, we can do Selena Slowly construction vehicles or Halloween.
So it was. I mean, I went as an audience member, and it was really fun to watch. I was trying to get rid of the background noise. Not that one?
You got that one, bud. He wants Thomas, but I don't know any of the Thomases that are up there.
Well, do it on Amazon.
Okay. So what was really fun
Or
was,
do you want me to do it? Since
yeah.
You...
Here, we're going to scoosh and throw out Joe.
Thomas.
So, let's see here. Step back a second. So Thursday, we made a point of like trying to sit in the audience to watch the last of the performers, because we also had to prep for the like curtain call, what was going to go on. So I got to see the Shanti dancers and the Irish dancers in Music Hall, which was really fun. So Friday, Joe and myself, and then our friends Zach and Bonnie, all head down to Music Hall because we all have sitters, and Zach is dancing all weekend. And we go hang out at Queen City Radio. They have a really yummy German food truck that's like not super German. Their schnitzel sandwich is really delicious and has a curry aioli on it, which is like, I wouldn't super think to pair that with it, but you do. But Friday night at this point, like after everybody's performed, they all relax a little bit. So people are chatting more, like groups are merging a little bit more. Though what we had also noticed was that we were one of the like older range groups, because a lot of the dancers were like in high school. And we were more mature adults at this point. But our friend who runs the Donauschwaben Oktoberfest starts schmoozing it up with all of the groups because he is a very extroverted person. And he remembers the folk festival that Cincinnati used to have. I think it was at Duke Energy Center. It was before my time with the Donnerschwaben. And he's trying to figure out if we can do something like that again. But we'll have to see what happens with that. So Friday night we dance. We're not sure whether or not we can like go into the music hall to see our friends and family that are out there during intermission, because we're not sure if we can get back and it's raining. We later found out we could get back going around music hall on the outside. But it was raining, so that wouldn't have been a great idea. But it was really fun. It was a super awesome environment. The crowd Friday night was my favorite. I only danced Friday and Saturday. But the crowd Friday night, like, we're dancing, and then at the one point during the Gaumsprung, the guys clapped their hands. And I realized, like, the guys sound really loud. And I'm like, oh, no. Half of the audience is clapping as well. So it was a really high energy show, which was lots of fun. Saturday was also lots of fun, but they were a little bit more subdued. I don't remember the crowd clapping on Saturday.
Just go over there.
Oh, I can't do that. Oof. Hi, I'm in a new spot now. So, and then Saturday, I left a little after dinner time to head down there. Oh yeah, we hung out at 13 Below like all day on, well, we closed down 13 Below Friday night, which was a lot of fun. And
I think we stayed until like what, midnight?
We were there until like 11:15.
I can see.
Almost 11:30. Like we had finished our beers and we were talking. There were like 2 other tables of people that were talking, and I was like, it's time to get in the car and relieve all of our babysitters. Well, relieve their babysitters. Our kids spent the night at their Oma and Opa's house, so we didn't have to worry about our kids. And then Saturday, since Zach and myself weren't doing curtain call, we closed out the pitch, which was a lot of fun.
What is curtain call? Did you explain that?
I have not yet. So curtain call, so it's a two act kind of show where the first act is all of the cultural groups and their dancers or performers. Because we also performed with the Kolping Sanger Choir. And we did a song with them. So we all had to learn that song at the last minute because we thought we could just kind of fake it till we made it. But there were way more of us than there were of people in the choir. So we had to step up our game. So the second half of the show was just all straight composed / arranged by a local composer. And they paired with the Ensemble Theater of Cincinnati, and they had 6 or 7 different actors and actresses that were doing reenactments of interviews from people who had come through Ellis Island and their journey to America, because it was the dream of America. It was the theme of the whole show. And so we were told by the head of the ensemble group, like, okay, so your goal when you get out on the stage is like you are now seeing Lady Liberty, and you are amazed because this whole show has just been leading up to, I can't wait to see Lady Liberty. And like at this point, they have not shown her up on the big screen at all.
And this was specifically Ellis Island that they were talking about.
Correct. So specifically Ellis Island.
So it's very specific period of time as far as American immigration.
Yeah. And
my grandparents did not go through Ellis Island because it was closed.
So Catty Weissman, Catty went through Ellis Island.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Did she come over earlier, maybe?
I don't think so, but she might have.
I thought it closed.
Your grandparents had already also been to the States a time or two before.
No.
I thought your grandfather had come over and then went back.
Oh, my specific, what? No, my great-grandfather.
Great-grandfather, that's what it was.
I think on my Oma's side. But
we both got distracted by Thomas at the same time.
Yeah.
So It's specifically about immigrants that come through Ellis Island.
It's like late 1800s, early 1900s.
Early 1900s. Pretty much all of them are a boat trip, and they're telling about their journey. So curtain call, we have one person who's going to be there all the time. So she actually comes out with the actors and actresses. And then we had a lot of extra people, and they wanted us to be included as well. So we walk out as the music swells, and then also turn around to go look at Lady Liberty, and then do the big bow with everyone. So it was really nice. It was a really cool experience, especially because I did it Friday night, so there was a lot of energy there. And I can't speak for Saturday night because we went and we hung out at the pitch to watch the end of the FC game. So it was really cool. Because at the end they also like read out what is on the bottom of the Statue of Liberty, where it's like, give me your tired, your poor. I don't remember what it is. I'm not going to look it up right now. That's not the point. But it was a super cool show that we didn't really get to see because we were in the back. We were backstage, and they had a screen, but
the audio was delayed.
The audio was on time. The video was delayed, so it was a little discombobulating. And because there were so many of us in the dressing room, if like more than 3 people were talking, you couldn't really hear what was going through the speaker, because the point of backstage is to like be semi-quiet. So it was really nice on Sunday, sorry, because I didn't dance on Sunday, but I could actually watch the whole show. And it was also cool for the kids, and the kids were like, "Where are you, Mama?" And I'm like, "This is happening right now, and Mama's right here." So Mama's not on the screen right now.
Yeah. So after the Sunday performance, which was a matinee.
Yes, it was matinee. It was a 2 p.m. performance versus the other ones, which were 7:30.
Yeah. So it was a matinee. So after that, everyone went to West Side Brewing, and we rejoined them for that.
Yep, we went and crashed. They were all in costume. I did not get into my costume just for that.
No.
We showed up with the kids.
Yeah. You can play with that.
Yep, go girlfriend. But we poured a new beer, so let's pause for a second. And this is so, I really want to make brownies now. I'm actually probably just going to go finish that cake though. So this is Killer Brownie Brown Ale by Warped Wing Brewing Company. It is 6.5% ABV and has 29 IBUs, which are made up and don't matter.
It smells like brownie.
It tastes like brownie.
That too. But as soon as I opened it, I'm like, oof.
This is making me really, really hungry, and I was already really, really hungry. Their description: your shortcut to Deliciousville is now within reach. Introducing Killer Brownie Brown Ale, a culinary meld of craft goodness. Excuse me. Indulge in aromas of deep, rich chocolate notes up front. Check. It is there. Followed by sips of caramel, vanilla, and of course, more chocolate. It's like a brownie in liquid form. Killer.
It is.
It really is.
And it's kind of a cool play on words too, because it's a brown ale and it's a killer brownie.
This is so good.
Yeah, this is very, very flavorful. This is definitely a sipper. Like, I don't know that and it's very filling too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know even if they served it in a pint glass necessarily.
They didn't. They served it in a 10-ounce glass, and I got it after I think it was when we went to Entertainment Junction for Elliot's birthday, because I had Mom with me.
Yes.
And we had Mom with us, because I think you took off the day too. Did you go with us?
No.
Okay, so maybe this was just me, Mom, and the kids. That would also track.
Well, I don't know. For Elliot's birthday?
Yeah, we went on a Monday.
Yes, I did take off that day. But you went to the museum center. I did not get to that.
Oh, yeah. For Elliot's birthday, we went to the museum center, but we also went to Entertainment Junction some weekend day, I think. That's what it was. And we took Mom to Warped Wing, and she was like, "Thanks, guys." She liked the food, so that was something. But I got this as my drink, and then told Joey we're buying a 6-pack. No questions asked.
We do have some beer that from Warping that's not. It's I think barrel aged.
Yes, we are. I need to reread the labels on them to see what's in it. Oh yeah.
And turn you down.
Oh yeah, because we're different people.
Because we switched microphones. Thank you. Yeah, so we have some barrel aged stuff in there for a different, hopefully for a guest.
I need to reread the descriptions of the beers and then send them to person and see if it's okay or not.
Yes.
Oh,
Because we have a specific person in mind.
Yeah.
For those beers, as well as the. I have a very specific person in mind for the Rebel Metal beer as well.
Yeah. So, quick Cliff Notes, Stream of America. It was a blast. Especially Saturday night, all the groups melded a little bit more because it's okay. We've done this. Like first night jitters are all gone. We got pictures with the other groups. We got pictures with JMR. Or JRM.
That's a conductor.
John Morris Russell, JMR. I got a selfie with him Friday night, and everybody else was like, "Dang it!" And I was like, I had an opportunity. I took it. I got my selfie. I need to make it my profile picture.
He's very charismatic. Is that how you would describe him?
Yes, he is a big personality extrovert that brings a lot of energy to a room.
Yes.
I think at one point when we were waiting in the wings, I think it was Thursday night, because we had seen like one of the groups had like gotten like restarted a few times. And they were like, make sure you smile, because if you don't smile, he's going to yell at you. Cause he'd be like, smile bigger, like energy, be happy. It was a blast. I really hope that we can find a way to do something with these other groups in the future.
There's no Greek people either.
I did like jokingly say in front of our dance coach, like, how much would Lori kill me if I showed up in Greek garb tomorrow? And like tomorrow was Friday, and she was like, you'd be dead. I'm just representing my history.
Yeah, because you are Greek. But I know for a fact that there are Greek dancers.
There are.
They have that festival.
They do.
Did they start it back up after COVID?
I'm assuming they did. But we're usually like out of town.
Yeah.
We are not going to be out of town this year, though, I think. So.
And the thing about that, we went way before kids.
Way before kids.
I don't even know if we were married.
We were not, I don't think.
So that was 2014, 2013. So we went once while we were watching my cousin's house. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was a while ago. That was a very long time ago.
Yeah.
But the thing about that was they had, at that festival at that time, they had a live band perform with them. They did. So did they already do that? Mm-hmm. At least back then they did.
Yeah. When I don't know, like it could be that they were contacted and they said they weren't available. It could be that they went down a list of like who the most popular groups are in Cincinnati to like perform other places. Because I have not.
Maybe they didn't have the music.
Yeah, or they didn't have music because they had to like arrange. So, because like the thing was like, oh, we can maybe find the version of the Radetzky that we performed back in like 07-ish, but we're not sure if that's the same version of the Radetzky that they're going to play last weekend. So we have to make sure we're playing with the right stuff.
Yeah. Maybe it was a timing thing too. Like,
yeah.
They didn't have enough time necessarily.
Yeah.
It was a cool performance. Mm-hmm. Music Hall is beautiful. They redid it a while back. Mm-hmm. Looks stunning. So I was with our friend and my friend who I grew up with. Mm-hmm. She's like 8 months pregnant.
Yeah.
And so we were up in the nosebleeds, but we got center stage. So they were fantastic seats, even if they were in the quote nosebleeds. But, and then you danced with her husband.
Yeah.
On stage. No, it was fun. There was quite a few people there. I don't know about, I wasn't there Saturday or Sunday, but it seemed like, it was a good turnout.
Yeah.
So I hope they do it again soon, but maybe they'll do it at Riverbend because I think the Pops does their summer thing at Riverbend, or at least they used to. They may do it now, and since downtown,
that's all a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
What do you mean?
We'll talk about it later, but it's there's like a thing now. Technically, the CSO owns Riverbend because they bought Coney Island. Oh my goodness, girlfriend, you are fine.
Lily, can you let Clara outside? What's the time?
We're at an hour. Okay.
What else are we supposed to talk about? Gardening?
Okay, so gardening and pig prep. So because the weather is pretty decent right now, I was like, hey, now's a good weekend to start prepping my flower pots. And apparently I'm going to start planting some stuff when we're done with this too, to start our garden on our back deck. So the kids helped me transfer dirt from old pots into new pots that we got a few weekends ago.
Yeah.
So as a way to say, okay, so the fresh soil, the new soil is going to be on top, but I can take this giant pot and take half the dirt that's currently in it and put it in my new pot. So I don't have to fill up my new pot with new soil. Both pots can get new soil. So the kids helped me out with that this morning. And then we went back to the hardware store, bought more pots and seeds. So I'm going to try to grow stuff from seeds this year, but only lettuce and some peas. Everything else I'm going to do from stuff that has been started already. And I'm not going to buy that until Mother's Day.
And the strawberries, right?
Yes, and strawberries. I need to
you'll
buy
need
those.
Seeds for those. Yeah.
I bought plants last year. And I'm probably going to buy plants again this year.
For the peppers, I'm assuming.
For the peppers and the strawberries. So I've got 2 or 3 different places that I'm going to put strawberries to see how they do best. And then I'm going to do peas, apparently, because I bought those today. And then I'm going to do peppers and tomatoes, mostly cherry tomatoes. And I'm going to try to get sweet peppers this time. We'll see what happens, though. I mean, I'm also going to try to get jalapenos again because those are pretty tasty.
I liked the hot peppers. It was like a... It was like a Russian roulette sort of thing. It was kind of exciting. Is it going to be sweet? Is it going to be hot? Oh, it's hot. Because you kind of just didn't know. It's kind of like, I guess with anything, if you make your own beer, it's is it going to be good? You don't know until you open that first bottle.
So it wouldn't have been as much of a thing if Peppergate, because everything's now has gate at the end of it. Thanks Nixon for that one. Probably his greatest contribution to society. But because initially, all the labeling said they were sweet peppers, but then they grew into jalapenos. So I'm hoping that I can actually get some sweet peppers this year because I would like some sweet snacking peppers. Or just next year, if it doesn't work out this year, next year I'll just go full bore. What's the hot? I'll get 3 different flavors of hot peppers and go with that. I'm going to try to do lettuce so we can have some fresh salad. Because Lily was a little bunny, quote unquote, yesterday and ate a whole serving of salad on her own. And kept asking for more because I had initially given her a baby salad and she ended up eating all of your mom's salad in addition to the baby salad that I had given her.
Yes.
So
yeah, I mean,
loving that. And then I'm hoping that if Elliot helps grow things, he will also eat them.
Yeah, you kind of
No promises on that one.
You
but
have
we'll
to
see.
sell it to the 3-year-old boy a little bit.
If it's not his idea, it's not going to work.
Yeah, Lily ate 2 things of yogurt at your mom's house the other day on Eclipse Day. Mm-hmm. So she hasn't, to my knowledge, she hasn't eaten yogurt in a very long time. And then all of a sudden,
she's back into it again.
she eats yogurt. And then
Kids are weird, man.
the bananas situation. Like
Elliot wanted me to buy bananas when we were at the store on Friday. And I said, are you going to eat them? And he's eaten 2 of them.
Okay.
So
Yeah, they haven't eaten bananas in a while. So
because the time before that when I bought bananas because the kids wanted me to and I said, are you going to eat them? They did not, in fact, eat them.
no.
This time they did, though. So
Oh, so far.
very proud of them. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how well that goes.
We're going to put them on the deck, which is, there's no steps. So,
Yeah,
and
it's
plus our
mostly-
yard is enclosed.
It's mostly animal safe. The birds and ants are like the 2 things that I have to worry about.
I'll go.
Okay. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. And then I am in the end stages of pig prep, which I don't think Julia, Marco, or Gnome are doing. I have not talked to Chris. I should probably bug him to see how he's doing. But I'm fairly confident in my ability to go 7.5 miles at a minimum 16-minute pace. And I did 7 3/4 mile run today that was mostly hills. Was half walk, half run.
What was your pace?
My pace was 15 minutes. So like my goal is to keep like a 15-minute pace. And if I'm on a flat surface, that's a lot easier to do. The problem is since our neighborhood is so hilly, it's like I get like 15.5 minutes when it's mostly uphill. And then it's like 14 minutes when it's mostly downhill.
But they average it.
It averages out.
Your watch averages it, right?
Yeah.
So what does it average it to?
So it averaged it out to 15 minutes. My fastest 15-minute mile. My fastest pace was like an 11-minute mile, maybe even a 10:30 mile. But that's like going downhill kind of stuff. Because my
What's the minimum you have to do?
16-minute mile.
Okay.
And that's to stay ahead of them closing down the course. Now you can still run on the sidewalk. The biggest like point will be during Gnome with the last leg. Because there's a mile stretch where there isn't sidewalks. Mm. So if you don't make it there in time, they bus you a mile to the sidewalks. So you have to wait for the bus to come pick you up, drop you off, and then for the bus to come back to pick up more people.
So how does the relay work? Did you ever figure that out?
No. Well, to quote Liam Neeson, no. I can't do it. Sorry. Marco, you're going to have to do that one for me. No, I do not have clarity on that. I probably need to see if they want to get together tomorrow, like next weekend, or if I can like go on Tuesday to harass them. Though Gnome hasn't been there the last few episodes that I've listened to. So it might just be Marco and Julia who are like, I don't know, Gnome's the one that signed us all up.
Yeah, I don't know if they understand that they have to run. Like the thing you're doing, you have to run and you have to run fast, relatively fast.
So you don't, it's a very fast walk or like a quick walk with brief periods of jogging. And you can mostly keep up a 16-minute pace. But like Marco is going to have the hardest section because it's all up and down. So it's keeping up for those ups because like some of the ups in our neighborhood, I'm at like a 19, almost 20-minute mile. If it's like towards the end of my run.
Our neighborhood it goes up.
Our neighborhood's it's some good hills. It's great for training anything that involves hills. the downhill's really nice, but it's also like the fact that so I have the fancy watch now. I don't just have the normal watch.
Oh, fancy.
So like last weekend I did not do any big runs because I was doing stuff with the Pops. I just was like, I'm not going to risk it and not be able to dance or like get the Gomsprung, the guys kick over your head. So you like have to get down, and Zach's not as young as he used to be. So he can't kick as high as some of the other guys can. So I'm like, get as close to ground as possible. And if I'm not limber enough to do that, I just didn't want to mess with it. So I didn't do any big run last weekend, but I started doing, I did all of my runs. I did most of my runs this week where I did like a mile to a mile and a half before I went to work. And my watch was like, oh, you're maintaining this week. But like 2 weekends ago when I did a long run, my watch was like, yeah, you kind of really tired yourself out with that one and you overdid it. But this weekend, it was like, hey, good, you're growing. Like you're doing a lot better. Like your numbers looked a lot better. So instead of just like wearing yourself out, you were actually like on the road to improving.
Okay.
It's fancy. So my goal is to keep that, like try to do a mile or a mile and a half in the morning before I go to work. Which means I have to wake up when my alarm first goes off and then immediately get out of bed.
Yeah.
So I have time to go for a half-ish hour run and then still get ready to go to work on time. And then I'm probably going to try to do another 5-ish miles next weekend. Because it's so many hills, I'm fine with not ever hitting super miles, but also like
the 7 miles that
I'm doing a 7.5 miles.
And you've never ran 7 miles consecutively.
No.
But you're pretty confident that because it's so hard to run in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
That
I can do it.
You can do it. So that's the thinking there.
Yeah. And I know last weekend was the 20 miler. So really, if you're running a full it was the 20/12. It was the 2012, which I think it's 20 miles if you're doing a full marathon, and it's 12 miles if you're doing a half marathon. I don't know.
WWE.
Our kids have discovered wrestling. It's fun.
Yeah. Lily.
So last weekend was the big mile run if you're doing the full marathon. So like Fleet Feet set up these kids. Fleet Feet set up a course for 20 miles that was all on sidewalks and stuff. So if you had to obey all the rules of the road, it wasn't like a closed down course. But you could go run their 20-mile course as your last big run before the marathon. Because even though you're going to do 26.2 miles, as part of your training, at no point do you actually run 26.2 miles. Because the goal is to help build up your endurance, and then you don't want to like super tire yourself out before you run the marathon.
All right, so more to come on the Flying Pig. Because that's in 2 weekends. Time is running out.
I will message them and be like, hey, if I crash on Tuesday.
All right, well, let's close this off before
the kids break something. Yeah, they have not watched WWE, but they have now discovered that siblings wrestle. Because they have seen their friends do that with their siblings. So it's now more of a thing.
All right, let's close it out. If you liked what you saw
or heard,
please make sure you like, follow, subscribe to us on all the social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, Rumble, but apparently our stuff isn't transferring like it's supposed to.
I do not know.
So it's supposed to do it automatically.
Yeah. So.
But, so follow us on all those platforms.
Craft Parenting Podcast.
Yeah, Craft Parenting Podcast. If you like this video, make sure you
slam that like button, smash subscribe, ring that notification bell. Oh, Gnarly Gnome just showed up. Hi, Gnome. Bye, Gnome. Our kids are
Yeah.
awake now, so we got to go take care of them.
Yep.
Well, I'll maybe see you on Tuesday. You should go to. We're gonna make that happen. I will end up at Higher Gravity on Tuesday.
I don't want you on camera, girlfriend.
So,
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back eventually.
yep. Okay, it's this button. Bye. And then for a hot second, the mics got very quiet because I muted them.